Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video we're going to learn how to crochet socks. This sock is for age 9 months. We're going to crochet the body of the sock, the top part, and at the end we're going to crochet the heel. So let's start with our magic circle. Turn the yarn around once on your 2 fingers. Bring the yarn on your top left. Put the crochet hook under the right yarn on the top of the left one. Grab the yarn, turn the crochet hook around once, grab the left yarn and pull it through the loop. So by doing this we have our first chain, and now we're going to chain 2 more chains. 1, 2. We have a total of 3 chains. That means that we have our first double crochet, and now we want to make 9 more double crochet, so we have a total of 10 double crochet on the circle of our magic circle, on the center of our magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull your loop so that the last double crochet doesn't frog. So grab the yarn, pull the magic circle so it tightens up, and we want to put our crochet hook on the last chain from the 3 that we crocheted, and make a slip stitch. Chain 1. Now what I forgot to mention is that my crochet hook is a 4mm and I'm crocheting with a 3-ply yarn. So chain 1, and we want to make increases, so we're going to make 2 double crochet on each stitch. So we're going to have a total of 20 at the end of the second row. So first stitch, 1, 2 double crochet, second stitch, 3, 4 double crochet, third stitch, 5, 6, next, 7, 8, next stitch, 9, 10, next, 11, 12, next, 13, 14, next stitch, 15, 16, next stitch, 17, 18, and our last stitch, 19, 20. We're gonna put a crochet hook on the first double crochet for this row, make a slip stitch, chain 1, turn our work. Now this is the last row of increases. We're not going to make any more rows of increases because we're crocheting our sock for 9 months old, and we don't want our sock to be bigger than this. If you're making your sock for an older child or for an adult, you want to add more rows of increases. So let's say you want to make a sock for like 2 years old. What would I do is like add 4 more stitches. So in the next row we have a total of 20. You would make increases every 5 stitches. So you don't want to have, if you have like a total of 30 on the next row, you would have probably the size for an adult. So you want to try like crochet once or twice and frog to find what size is the right one for for the age that you're making the sock for. So that was our last row of increases. From now on, this is round 2. Round 3 through round 8, we're making 1 stitch on every stitch. So we're going to be having a total of 20 on every row. So we're turning on our work, and we're going to crochet 1 stitch in every stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and our last stitch, 20. We're going to put our crochet hook on the first stitch for this row, our first double crochet. Make a slip stitch, chain 1, turn our work. This was third row. We're going to start our fourth row now, and we're going to keep crocheting 1 stitch on every stitch. 1, 2, 3. Keep crocheting until you go all around with a total of 20 double crochet. So we have a total of 20 double crochet at the end of our fourth row. Put our crochet hook on the first stitch for this row, slip stitch, chain 1, turn our work, and we see how it starts forming up our little sock. So if you're making this sock for a bigger size, you want to make it a little wider. So we turn our work, and we want to make 20 double crochet in this row again. This is our 5th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, 5th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep crocheting until we have 20 double crochet all around again. So we have a total of 20 double crochet again. Slip stitch on the first double crochet for this row, chain 1, turn our work. So we just completed the 5th row. Now we're going to do off camera 6th, 7th, and 8th in the 8th row, 6, 7, 8 rows, where we're going to make 1 stitch on every stitch. So we're going to have a total of 20 again, and we turn our work every time we finish a row. We're going to be turning our work. So we want a total of 20 stitches on every round for the next 3 rounds, round 6, 7, and 8. When I'm done my next three rounds, I'm going to turn the camera on, so we're going to see how we're going to continue our sock. So we have completed our 8th row with a total of 20 double crochet, and we're going to start our 9th row. What we want to do now is, in order to know where you want to crochet your heel, fold your sock so the slip stitch is on the left side in the middle. So what we're going to do now is, from the start going around until the middle over here is the point where you're making 1 double crochet on every stitch. From the middle point down around until your slip stitch is where you want to make your chains. So on the bottom of those chains, we're going to make our heel. So, and one other thing is that when we're making our sock, let's say we have a total, this sock is a total of 12 centimeters. So what that means is that I'm taking 2/3 from this measurement, which is 8 centimeters. So from here to here is my 8 centimeters, and I'm leaving the last 4 centimeters, the last 1/3 for my heel. So I don't know how to convert this to inches, because I'm gonna get confused. So because I'm used to measuring in centimeters. Well, this is for a 9-month-old, about 12 centimeters. So we want 2/3. In this goes for every size sock that we make. We want the 2/3 to be the bottom part of our sock, and we leave the 2/3 to be our heel. So let's start. So we turn our work, and by doing this, that means that we're taking 10 double crochet. We're taking half of our sock. So what we're going to make 1 stitch for the next 10 stitches, 1 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have the half of our sock that we saw earlier from the beginning to the middle. So this part is going to be our heel. So what we want to do for the heel is, instead of making 10 chains, because we're skipping 10 stitches, we want to make a few extra more chains, because our ankle is a little wider than our foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 more stitches. So instead of making 10 chains, I'm going to make 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're skipping all these stitches that we didn't crochet on top of them, and I'm going to put my crochet hook on the first stitch for this row, and we're going to make a slip stitch, chain 1, and turn our work. So now we're going to crochet on top of every chain. So we're going to have a total of 13 double crochet plus the 10 that we have over here, a total of 23. So we're putting our hook on the first chain, one, next chain, 2, next chain, 3, next chain, 4, next chain, 5, next chain, 6, next chain, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and our last stitch, 13. Now we're going to crochet on the top of the double crochet, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and our last stitch, 23. We're going to make a slip stitch on the top of the first double crochet, chain 1, turn our work, And now we're going to make one stitch on every stitch, so one double crochet on every stitch, a total of 23 again. And this is round 11. So we want to make one double crochet on each double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep going until we have 23 double crochet. So we finished our row. Slip stitch on the first double crochet of this row, chain 1, turn our work. So this is our 12th row, and we're going to have one more row, total of 13 rows. So let's start by crocheting one stitch on every stitch, a total of 23 again. 2, 3, 4. Keep going until we have 23 double crochet. So we have a total of 23. Put the crochet hook on the first double crochet of this row, slip stitch, chain 1, and this is going to be our last row, our 13th row, with a total of 23 double crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going until you have a total of 23 double crochet. So we have a total of 23. Slip stitch on the first double crochet of this row. We have our slip stitch. We're going to cut the yarn, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add an edging of with pink yarn. So right after my slip stitch, I'm not going to chain 1. I'm going to grab my yarn and pull through the loop, chain 1, and we want to make 23 single crochet, one stitch on every stitch. 1, 2, 3, and while I'm working, I'm crocheting my string of yarn, so I don't have to sew it in at the end. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and we're going to make a slip stitch on our first single crochet, chain 1, cut my yarn, pull the loop, and now this is the part that's left to make our heel. This is how it looks. So what we're going to do now is right here on the top of this double crochet, we're going to attach our yarn, and I'm going to make it with the pink yarn so we can see the difference between the difference in the heel with the second color. So attach my yarn, chain 1, make a single crochet on the same stitch. So we have 1. Now we want to go in the middle of the double crochet, because when we're crocheting on the top of double crochets, we want 2 stitches on every stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 1 right here on this stitch right here, 3, and now we're going to crochet 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 right here on the side, 14, 15 in the middle of the double crochet, 15, 16 right here in the top, and now we want to crochet on the bottom part of the chains that we made earlier. So I lost my count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and we're going to make a slip stitch on the first single crochet, chain 1. So this is how our heel looks at this point. Now what we're going to do is decrease on every second stitch because we want our heel to start closing up. So we're not going to turn around our work, we're going to keep going around. So in the first stitch we're going to make 1 single crochet. Next 2 single crochet, we're going to crochet them together. So put my crochet hook on the next stitch, put your crochet hook on the second stitch. We have a total of 3 loops in our hook. Pull yarn, pull it through the loops. So in the next stitch, single crochet. Next 2 stitches, we crochet them together. Put hook on the first stitch, put hook on the second stitch. We have a total of 3 loops on our hook. Pull yarn through all of the 3 loops. Next stitch, single crochet. Next 2 stitches, we crochet them together. Next stitch, single crochet. Next 2 stitches, crochet them together. Next stitch, make a single crochet. Next 2 stitches, we decrease. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. Next 2 stitches, we decrease. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. Next 2 stitches, we decrease. Next stitch, single crochet. Next 2 stitches, we decrease. Next stitch, single crochet. Next 2 stitches, we decrease. Next stitch, a single crochet, and now we're gonna single crochet on our next stitch also, and make a slip stitch on the first stitch of our row, chain 1. So our heel has started to close up. This is how it looks at this point. And after every row of decreases or increases, we make one row with one stitch on every stitch with, so we want one stitch on every stitch, because if we keep on crocheting rows of decreases, we're gonna have holes on our work, which will look ugly. And if we are making increases and we keep on making increases on every row, uh, our our work is gonna start looping on the outside, like curving on the outside, so it'll look ugly again. So after every row of decreasing or increasing, we want one row with all the stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and we're going to make a slip stitch on the first stitch for this row. Chain 1. Now if you think you're gonna lose your first stitch and you won't know where to make your slip stitch, you can use a stitch marker on every first single crochet of the row, so you know where you're gonna slip stitch at the end. So we see that after the row of one stitch in every stitch, our heel has closed up again. So in this row, we're going to make decreases on every second stitch again. So one single crochet in the second stitch, next 2 stitches, decrease. One single crochet in the next stitch, next 2 stitches, decrease. One single crochet in the next stitch, next 2 stitches, we're going to decrease. One single crochet on the next stitch, next 2 stitches, decrease. One stitch on the next stitch, decrease the next 2 stitches, single crochet in the next stitch, decrease on the next 2 stitches, one single crochet on the next stitch, one single crochet in the stitch after that, and we have our now we're going to make our slip stitch on the first stitch for this row. Chain 1. Now we're going to make one stitch around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, slip stitch in the first single crochet of this row, chain 1. So this is how our heel looks at this point. So the hole as we go gets smaller, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to crochet. So now we're going to make a row of decreases. We're going to be decreasing every second stitch again. So chain 1, one single crochet in the first stitch, decrease on the next 2 stitches, one single crochet on the next stitch, decrease on the next 2 stitches, one single crochet on the next stitch, decrease on the next 2 stitches, one single crochet on the next stitch, decrease on the next 2 stitches, one single crochet on the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the stitch after that, and slip stitch on the first single crochet of this row, chain 1 single crochet all around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to slip stitch on the first single crochet for this row, chain 1. This is how our heel looks at this point, and because it has gotten very small, if you can keep going on decreasing until the hole closes up. But what we're going to do is cut our yarn a little long so we can sew in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting my sewing needle in from one stitch, and I'm going to be taking it out on the next stitch. We're going to be going in on the next stitch and take our needle out on the stitch after that. And we want to be pulling our yarn little by little so the hole closes up. Going to secure our yarn, put my needle on the inside so we can fasten our yarns, secure our yarns. So what we want to be aware of is when we finish up the heel, we want this part to be soft and comfortable, because we don't want to feel knots, because that means that when our kid is walking with the socks, that it's bothering its heel. So we want to be aware of that. So when we secure our yarn, we secure it on the single crochet, but we try to go up where the kid is not stepping on the yarn. Well, it's the same for adults too. You want your socks to be comfortable. So cut the yarn, cut this yarn because I was crocheting it in. So we want to secure this yarn, and this yarn over here. When I'm done, I'm gonna turn on my camera again so we see how our sock looks like. So this is how our sock looks like. Hope you found the video tutorial helpful. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you like the video. Bye bye.